This is Epic Book Recaps, a podcast that offers complimentary audio summaries of influential nonfiction books, making learning a smarter experience. Fight Right by Julie Schwartz Gottman, PhD, John Gottman, PhD. Maintaining romantic relationships can often prove more challenging compared to other human connections due to their inherent sensitivity. Individuals who consciously avoid conflicts are well aware of this vulnerability. This apprehension is not unfounded, as many couples struggle to effectively argue without resorting to hurtful insults, leaving emotional wounds in their wake. Love, like any worthwhile endeavor, requires effort and commitment. The key difference lies in the establishment of trust within a romantic relationship. Conflicts, despite their tumultuous nature, can serve as a means to uncover the most delicate aspects of individuals. They provide an opportunity to gain deeper insights into your partner and allow them to do the same. However, without the knowledge of how to support and handle your significant other during their most vulnerable moments, even the best intentions can inadvertently damage the relationship. Feeling confused or powerless in understanding your partner does not indicate a lack of love. It is important to recognize that you cannot possibly know every aspect of the person you love, as each individual possesses their own vast universe of thoughts and emotions. Instead, the task at hand is to learn to appreciate and embrace each other in all states, both high and low. So, why not take the first step towards this mutual understanding and appreciation right now? Conflict avoidance is often ingrained in us from a young age. Whether we witnessed our parents engaging in heated arguments or experienced the silence that followed their departure from the room, the fear and anxiety surrounding conflicts can linger within us well into adulthood. This can lead to a belief that fights are either intimidating or enigmatic. However, it is important to note that a healthy relationship is not characterized by the absence of disputes, but rather by the ability to navigate and grow from them. Conflicts serve as a necessary catalyst for two individuals to be truly open with one another. Each person perceives the world around them in a unique way, causing their perspectives to collide. Consequently, those who avoid or disregard conflicts and their triggers may find themselves feeling uncomfortable in the presence of their partners. But does this discomfort indicate a failing relationship? Not necessarily. More often than not, it signifies differing conflict styles between individuals. These styles can be categorized into three main types. 1. Avoiders. Individuals who prefer to agree to disagree and seldom make an effort to present their arguments to the other party. 2. Validators, those who swiftly express their viewpoints and strive to find a compromise as quickly as possible. 3. Volatiles. The most passionate and intense fighters who demand immediate resolution to conflicts. When two people with differing conflict styles enter into a relationship, a meta-emotion mismatch is bound to occur sooner or later. This mismatch arises from miscommunication and conflicting interests, leaving both parties feeling unheard and unseen. Such discords are experienced by most couples regardless of their gender or sexual orientation, highlighting that this issue transcends societal constructs. To address these conflicts, there are several crucial discussions that couples should engage in. 1. Reflect on the dynamics of connection within your respective families. 2. Identify and understand your own conflict styles. 3. Explore how these styles interact with one another. By addressing these questions, couples can work towards aligning their differences and improving their ability to compromise. Furthermore, these discussions foster trust and strengthen the bond between partners. However, conflicts are an inevitable part of life, and while we can strive to alleviate their impact, it is crucial to infuse positivity into the resolution process. A heartfelt apology, a warm smile, or a comforting touch can serve as a starting point. Taking it a step further, individuals can take responsibility for their part in the conflict and acknowledge when their partner is in the right. In summary, conflicts are an integral part of relationships, and the ability to effectively navigate them is key to personal and relational growth. By understanding and addressing our conflict styles, we can create a foundation of trust and work towards resolving conflicts in a positive and constructive manner. Did you know that the way you initiate a conflict can actually determine the future dynamics of your relationship? Recent research suggests that the first 3 minutes of a fight are crucial in shaping its trajectory and outcome. If you happen to start off on the wrong foot, with intense anger and frustration, it's highly likely that not only will your fight end on a negative note, but your relationship itself may be at risk. So, take a moment to reflect on your recent arguments. Chances are, they started in one of the following 3 ways. 1. Criticizing or expressing dissatisfaction with your partner. Engaging in criticism is an unproductive approach to resolving conflicts, whether it's between parents and children, colleagues, or romantic partners. By focusing on what you perceive as wrong with the other person, you only exacerbate the issue by assigning blame. This often triggers a defensive response, leading to a back and forth of mutual accusations. 2. Targeting your partner's flaws instead of addressing your own feelings. Pointing out flaws in your partner won't actually solve anything. It will only leave both parties with bitterness and thoughts of potential separation. Additionally, this behavior may indicate underlying resentment towards your partner, stemming from unexpressed personal needs. Perhaps there were instances where you failed to communicate your needs or remained silent about small inconveniences that gradually built up. It's important to remember that your partner cannot read your mind, so if you don't voice your needs, they may unknowingly ignore them. Repressed needs tend to worsen over time, so how can you mend this rift in your relationship? Firstly, focus on discussing the specific issue at hand rather than targeting your partner's flaws. Avoid blame, criticism, or contempt, as they are likely to bring up past offenses unrelated to the current problem. Secondly, express how the issue has made you feel personally. Finally, clearly communicate what your partner can do to help improve the situation. By taking this informative and constructive approach, you can work towards resolving conflicts and nurturing a healthier relationship. Imagine finding yourself in the midst of a flood, where icy water relentlessly sweeps you off your feet, leaving you desperately grasping for a life-saving branch. Now let's apply this scenario to your relationship with your significant other. In this analogy, the branch represents the urgent need for reconciliation, while the flood represents yet another heated argument. It's important to acknowledge that even seemingly flawless couples experience conflicts. It doesn't mean that you love your partner any less because you can't always anticipate their desires, and the same goes for them. However, keeping this in mind can create challenges when you find yourselves in the midst of a fiery quarrel. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that both of you are engulfed in flames or battling a torrential flood, whichever image resonates with you. The sensation of being flooded is a natural response to feeling overwhelmed. Your nervous system is attempting to cope with the negativity being directed at you by your partner. Think back to the last time you were left speechless by accusations or criticism, unable to formulate a proper response. Just as you can't perform at your best when you're unwell, it's difficult to construct valid arguments when you're inundated. Some common physical manifestations of being flooded include a tense jaw and muscles, a flushed face and increased body temperature, shallow breathing, a racing heartbeat, a sensation of nausea, a whirlwind of racing thoughts. Once emotions take over, you're likely to say things that you'll later regret. It's crucial to recognize that continuing to engage in the fight is futile. You must address and manage the surge of emotions first. It's important to note that raising your voice often amplifies minor issues. Before doing so, ensure that your criticism is valid and worth escalating the situation. Before embarking on the journey to rediscover common ground, you need time to recuperate. Firstly, recognize the significance of openly expressing your needs. Many conflicts arise from the inability to communicate what you require and expecting your partner to instinctively understand. Use the following phrase to articulate your needs. I'm feeling overwhelmed at the moment, and I don't want to say anything hurtful to you. I'll take 20 minutes to collect myself before we continue. The next step is to change your environment. Leave the house, go for a walk, engage in a soothing activity that brings you calm. Ensure that you avoid dwelling on negative thoughts or plotting retaliatory actions. Finally, return and have an open discussion about your feelings. Most importantly, refrain from accusing your partner. If valid reasons were always present during arguments, conflict would cease to exist. When individuals engage in heated disagreements, it is often an indication that the underlying issues run deeper than what may initially appear. In relationships, the dissatisfaction that leads to disputes is seldom caused by trivial matters, such as forgotten birthdays. Rather, it stems from a lack of willingness to open up and listen to one another, resulting in a back-and-forth exchange of grievances. Building and maintaining healthy relationships requires effort, even if this work may not always be enjoyable. It is through this effort that progress can be made in resolving conflicts. Similar to how children often fight over toys, adult conflicts follow a similar pattern rooted in underlying desires. These desires can encompass a wide range of aspirations, including self-exploration, personal growth, freedom, productivity, travel, and closure. For instance, let's consider a couple where one person values receiving gifts, while the other grew up in a low-income family and developed a mindset that discourages unnecessary expenses. In this case, the root of the issue lies in their differing childhood experiences, rather than any specific fault of either individual. Past hardships can unexpectedly shape one's mentality, influencing their reactions in the present. Therefore, if you find yourself or your partner snapping at each other seemingly without reason, it is essential to delve into their childhood experiences and family dynamics, values and beliefs, feelings and emotions, ideal expectations in the current situation. Repressed purposes or goals. Although it may be challenging, taking the first step to discuss these aspects can bring you closer as a couple and help anticipate future disagreements. It is important to acknowledge that conflicts will continue to arise as long as deep-seated wounds remain unresolved. Healing takes time. You can also apply the same approach to explore any dormant triggers within yourself. Initially, you may struggle to recall specific issues, and that is understandable. In such cases, you can seek inspiration from various sources, such as old photos or yearbooks, reflecting on past relationships with parents and previous partners, recalling early school experiences with peers, or examining negative thought patterns that have been passed down through generations regarding money, romance, etc. If you receive a response from your partner that appears unclear or doesn't make sense to you, take it as a clear sign that there is an underlying issue that needs further exploration. By approaching conflicts in relationships with an informative and understanding tone, you can foster growth, understanding, and resolution. When two individuals possess strong aspirations and are unwilling to let go of them, it often leads to conflict. Finding a resolution to this conflict can be as simple as reaching a compromise, much like responsible adults would do. However, it is important to ask ourselves whether we would be willing to negotiate on our long-standing dreams. If the answer is yes, it indicates that we are not concerned about sharing control with our partner, which is a positive mindset to have. On the other hand, if we find ourselves saying no, it suggests a lack of flexibility. Let us explore how this inflexibility can potentially impact our partnership. Some individuals may find it challenging to admit that they enjoy competing with their partners. However, it is crucial to recognize that conflict is not about winning or losing, but about finding a mutually beneficial solution. If both individuals are willing to adjust their dreams or visions to accommodate each other, the conflict can be resolved quickly. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. The underlying problem often lies in patriarchal norms. From a young age, many men are raised with a sense of entitlement to power. It is no surprise that society grants men more authority, Consequently, when women in heterosexual relationships assert their desire for control as a means to feel secure and confident, some men struggle to relinquish what they perceive as innate. They have either always held power or fought their way to it, which explains their hesitation. Thus, when a man rejects or abuses a woman's power, it threatens her sense of safety, something women continue to fight for even today. Fear is an integral part of the female experience. To be in a relationship with a woman means being a humble protector. One unavoidable aspect of relationships is mutual influence. A healthy love life is likely to flourish when our sense of self does not solely rely on the need for control. Allowing ourselves to be influenced by our significant other demonstrates respect for their interests and opinions. An example of positive mutual influence is adjusting our routines or reevaluating our perspectives. If we desire a practical compromise, it is important to identify which areas are flexible and which are non-negotiable. By comparing these results with our partner, we can work towards a solution that is built upon the flexible aspects. However, if we constantly reject or oppose our partner's desires or suggestions, we become an obstacle rather than a supportive partner. Have you ever wondered why your partner suddenly snaps at you out of nowhere? It's often a sign that there is some hidden offense brewing in their mind, perhaps an old issue that has been left undiscussed. These ill feelings can fester and grow, potentially leading to the downfall of even the strongest partnerships. So it's crucial that when either you or your partner reveal a latent pain, you immediately halt and begin the healing process. But how can you distinguish between a deep-rooted wound and simply being exhausted from work at the end of a long day? In the 1920s, a renowned psychologist named Bluma Zygarnik made an intriguing discovery about memory. She found that people tend to remember unfinished tasks more effectively than completed ones. The sense of unresolved tasks causes our brains to retain them more vividly and for longer periods of time. This phenomenon became known as the Zygarnik effect, and interestingly, it can also be applicable to matters of love and relationships. Naturally, there are times when you may want to avoid aggravating old wounds. These situations include when discussing the issue only intensifies the conflict, when you find yourselves arguing about the previous argument, when the topic is so painful that you fear it may lead to a disconnection between you, or when you or your partner are anxious about each other's unexpected reactions. Unfortunately, relying on the Zygarnik effect to justify postponing important conversations won't bring you peace of mind. More likely, you'll find yourself ruminating on what was said and constructing a biased memory of the events, which could further fuel the fire unnecessarily. It's important to recognize that no one is completely unbiased. Each person has their own unique reality that deserves respect. Keep this in mind when you feel the urge to interrupt your partner with your own perspective. Perception is akin to a snowflake, with each one being unique. No one else will see things exactly the same way you do. However, before you empathize with your partner's viewpoint, it can be helpful to share your own experiences first. Begin by expressing phrases like, "I imagined," "I remember," or "I assumed," to emphasize your side of the story without invalidating the other person's reality. Alternatively, you can follow these steps. 1. Share your emotional state. 2. Describe your personal reality. 3. Reveal any triggers you may have, which could stem from your childhood or past experiences. Acknowledge your own contribution to the conflict. 5. Together, work through the disagreement and collaboratively find a solution. Did you know that LGBTQ+ couples often exhibit higher levels of empathy due to their experiences with acceptance-related challenges? This increased empathy can be a valuable asset in navigating conflicts and fostering understanding within relationships. In recent times, numerous facets of our lives have become increasingly complex, and this holds true for our relationships as well. Influenced by popular culture, many individuals have come to believe in the existence of perfect chemistry and love at first sight. However, it is essential to recognize that relationships are rarely as straightforward as depicted in romantic comedies. Conflict is an inevitable part of any partnership, serving as a valuable opportunity to truly understand one another. On one hand, conflicts may arise, and it is crucial to acknowledge their presence. However, rather than fearing these confrontations, it is important to approach them with readiness and willingness to engage in open and honest communication. In fact, conflicts can serve as a catalyst for personal growth and the development of essential relationship skills such as active listening, acceptance, and compromise. By navigating through conflicts, individuals have the opportunity to forge stronger bonds and gain a deeper understanding of their partners. In certain cases, if you find that a particular issue consistently harms your relationship, it may be beneficial to seek professional guidance. Visiting a therapist can provide a supportive and objective environment where both individuals can openly express their concerns and work towards finding effective solutions. A therapist can assist in identifying patterns or underlying issues that may contribute to recurring problems, offering valuable insights and strategies for improved relationship dynamics. Additionally, journaling can serve as a helpful tool for individuals to sort through their thoughts and emotions. By putting pen to paper, one can gain clarity and a deeper understanding of their own feelings, as well as the dynamics within the relationship. Journaling allows for self-reflection and can aid in identifying patterns or areas for personal growth. To summarize, relationships in the modern era have become more intricate, challenging the notion of perfect chemistry and love at first sight. Conflict is a natural aspect of any partnership, and rather than fearing it, individuals should embrace the opportunity for growth and understanding. Seeking professional help from a therapist can be beneficial in addressing persistent issues, while journaling can aid in personal reflection and gaining insight. By acknowledging the complexity of relationships, we can navigate them more effectively and foster healthier connections.